The Strait of Hormuz. Just saying that name out loud creates an invisible pressure in the air. A narrow strip of water, only 20 to 24 miles wide in some places. And yet the entire balance of the world's economy stands on this one tight passage. Every day, 20 to 21 massive oil tankers move through this route, each one carrying millions of barrels of oil, carrying fuel, and with it, carrying the future of the entire planet. But here's the question, is this just a route? No. There's far more hidden in Hormuz than what we see on the surface. On a map, it's just a line. But in reality, it's a living, breathing entity, where nature, history, geopolitics, and humanity's fight to survive have come together to build something strange, complex, and deeply mysterious. Today, we're going inside that mystery. Take a moment and imagine this. You're sitting in a small boat. The blue waters of the Persian Gulf wrap around you. In the distance, an island is rising on the horizon. But this island doesn't look like anything normal. Red, yellow, orange, purple, pink. The mountains are layered, one on top of another, color after color. It looks like some artist spent 1 billion years brushing paint across it. It doesn't feel like Earth. It feels like a fragment of some other planet entirely. That's Hormuz Island. Part of Iran's Hormozgan province, along the southern coast, this island covers just 16 square miles. Tiny. But inside it is locked billions of years of Earth's own history. That red soil is iron oxide, the rust of iron. Lava and minerals that poured out of ancient volcanoes built these colorful layers over time. Scientists who come here are stunned, because the sheer variety of geological strata packed into one small island is almost unheard of anywhere else on Earth. These mountains aren't just rock, they're markers of time. Every single layer tells the story of an era. Sometimes fire, sometimes water, sometimes collapse and ruin. Standing here, you feel it, like you've stepped outside the world you know. But inside all that otherworldly beauty lives a hard, unforgiving reality. Summer temperatures here climb to 113 to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. The ground gets so hot that walking barefoot is nearly impossible. And even though the sea is right there, fresh water on this island is rarer than gold. Rain is scarce. Groundwater is salty. Just surviving here is a daily challenge. And yet, people have lived on this island for thousands of years. So how? The people here don't fight the environment. They understand it, because they know changing this environment is not possible. So instead, they've adapted themselves to it. Life here runs on the rhythm of heat. Fishermen are out on the water before dawn breaks. Once the sun reaches overhead, all work stops. People go inside. Then as evening light settles in, life wakes back up. Markets open, children play, the older folks sit and talk. One look at the houses tells you everything. These aren't just places to live in. They're the product of an intelligent architecture. Thick walls, so the outside heat can't push through. High ceilings, so hot air rises and escapes. Small windows placed with purpose, so the cool ocean breeze can easily flow inside. And in some places, there are badgers, traditional wind-catching towers that naturally keep homes cool without a single drop of electricity. Everything is calculated. Nothing here is accidental. And right there is where Hormuz's real lesson is hiding. Survival isn't just about having resources. Survival means knowing how to use what you have the right way. Every day, past this island, sail some of the largest ships ever built, VLCCs, or very large crude carriers. So massive that one ship's length equals 3 football fields laid end to end. From a distance, they look like floating cities. On one side, an economy worth hundreds of billions of dollars, the global energy crisis, and the center of geopolitical tension. On the other side, a fisherman, his tiny wooden boat, a wet net in the morning, and at the end of the day, counting how much fish he actually pulled in. These two realities exist here side by side, but their worlds are separate, separated from each other in a way that's almost astonishing. And it's precisely that contrast that makes Hormuz unlike anywhere else on Earth. The story of Hormuz is incomplete without talking about what's in this water. In summer, the Persian Gulf's water temperature rises above 95 degrees Fahrenheit. At those temperatures, most of the world's coral reefs can't survive. They turn white and die. Scientists call it coral bleaching. But the coral near Hormuz? Different story. Over thousands and thousands of years, they adapted to survive this extreme heat. They rewired their own genetic makeup. Special algae live inside them. Algae that can survive at high temperatures. The ones that couldn't make it, they vanished into the darkness of history. The ones that did, they are now one of the most valuable subjects of scientific research on Earth. Because the genes inside these corals might just be the key to saving coral reefs in a hotter future world. These corals aren't just beautiful, they are life itself. Shelter for fish, breeding grounds, a source of food. The entire livelihood of the local fishermen rests on these reefs. But this balance is now breaking. Every oil tanker passing through leaves behind toxic chemicals in the water. Sometimes accidents spill oil across the sea. Human pressure, overfishing, industrial waste, all of it, day by day, is weakening this delicate marine system. And when this balance breaks, the impact spreads much farther than you'd expect. Right alongside this ocean sits a forest unlike any other. A mangrove forest, where trees grow right in the middle of saltwater. Where ordinary trees cannot survive, these trees built themselves differently. Their roots grow upward out of the ground, just to reach air. They absorb salt water, then push that salt back out through their leaves through a specialized process. Essentially, they filter salt water and live off it. This forest is not just a collection of trees. It's a birthplace. Countless fish lay their eggs here. Shrimp and crabs grow up here. Migratory birds fly in from thousands of miles away just to rest here. The roots of this forest hold the ocean floor in place, preventing erosion and collapse. Losing this forest doesn't mean losing just a place. It means losing an entire system of life, the damage of which is felt for years and years after. Standing at the center of all of this is the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow passage, but one whose importance to the entire planet cannot be overstated. Every single day, roughly 20% of all the oil produced in the world moves through this route. That means 1 out of every 5 barrels of oil on Earth passes through here. Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, almost all of their oil exports run through this single path. If this route shuts down, Saudi Arabia has limited alternatives. Iraq and Kuwait effectively have none. Which means this isn't just a sea route. This is the lifeline of the entire global economy. Maybe you're sitting in America right now. Hormuz is thousands of miles away from you. But if something happens here, oil prices go up. And when oil prices go up, transportation costs go up. Food prices go up. Electricity prices go up. The price of goods goes up. The impact lands directly in your daily life. That's exactly why there's always an invisible, electric tension surrounding Hormuz. The United States, China, Russia, the European Union, every major power keeps a watchful eye on this route. Naval fleets are stationed here. Satellites are tracking it. Unseen diplomatic wires are being pulled and pushed constantly. The strait is so tight that even the massive oil tankers have to follow designated lanes. One lane for ships coming in, one for ships going out. Each lane is only about 2 miles wide. One small mistake, one accident, and everything stops. And the price of that stop is paid by the entire world. Even through all of this, the people here just keep living their lives. The weight of the global economy means nothing to them. What matters to them is whether there'll be fish today, what the weather will be like, how bad the heat gets, what shows up at the market in the evening. There are elders on this island who have never once watched a television in their lives. But they can look at the color of the sea and tell you, is a storm coming tomorrow or not? They can watch how the fish are moving and tell you, drop your net right there, and here's exactly how much you'll pull up. That's not knowledge learned from books. That's wisdom built over generations, generation after generation of reading the environment until it becomes instinct. Global and local, these two realities live here together. This contrast makes Hormuz run even deeper. Time itself moves slower here. The environment forces people to slow down. Heat, wind, the ocean, everything sets the pace of life. And within that slow pace, people find a rhythm, a kind of peace, a sense of who they are. But the question remains, how long does this balance hold? The world is changing. Ocean temperatures are rising. Pollution is rising. Human pressure is rising, and the impact of that change shows up first, where the balance is most delicate, where nature and people depend on each other the most. Hormuz is exactly that kind of place. Coral reefs die, and fish populations fall. Fish populations fall, and fishermen's lives unravel. Mangrove forests disappear, and the breeding grounds of marine life are gone. The food chain fractures, and the end result of that fracture eventually reaches our plates, our grocery stores. This change happens slowly. It doesn't catch your eye easily, but it happens, inevitably. So Hormuz isn't just a geographical location, it's a living textbook. It teaches us, not through power alone, but through the ability to adapt, lies the true key to survival. Not just use. Preservation matters too. Not just today's profit. The balance of tomorrow has to be considered. Because this Earth is one complex, living system, where everything is tied to everything else by invisible threads. A coral reef, a mangrove forest, a fisherman, an oil tanker, a global economy. They are all different chapters of the same story. And in the end, only one question remains. Are we reading the signals, or are we still only looking at the surface? The world is changing, slowly, but without question. And the ones who adapt to that change, like nature itself, like the coral of Hormuz, like the people of this island, they are the ones who will still be standing in the future.